Vali Nasr, let's have you begin this. I mean, you've argued in a sense that Iran is seeking to acquire a nuclear device to dominate the Arab world, not destroy Israel. Yet, as we heard from General Yadlin, those very missiles, those very long-range missiles that were fired for the first time by Hamas and Islamic Jihad on Jerusalem and on Tel Aviv were proudly provided by Iran. So why is General Yadlin wrong about the intent of destruction, and why are you right about the impetus towards domination?
Well, first of all, Iran and Israel have been in a low-level warfare with one another over a number of decades. General Yadlin referred to the back and forth over what happened in South Lebanon with the bombing, and then the retaliations that Iran did in Argentina. There have been attacks on Israel here and there. And currently, as we're speaking, there are cyber attack operations on Iran, as well as also assassination of their scientists. They're also hitting back. But launching nuclear weapon is a whole different order of magnitude in terms of escalation, particularly against a country which has several hundred nuclear warheads with much more accurate ability to deliver them. And as Farid said, with a second strike capability off of submarines, Iran is in no way in a position to be able to take Israel on at that level. Now, of course, Iran would brandish these missiles very proudly. It wants to change the conversation in the Middle East from Syria and itself to the Arab-Israeli issue. It wants to also tell the Arabs that it's providing ammunition to the Palestinians to stand up to Israel. It has, in the past week, it has got a lot of ground in the Arab world because of these two things. Because the limelight has shifted from them and what they're doing in Syria to the Arab-Israeli issue, and also because it's seen as the only government in the region that is providing material support to the Palestinians. Again, it's cold calculation about what would promote their position in the region.
Charles, it sounds rational, cold, calculated, moving forward to shift attention away from what's happening in Syria. Why don't you buy that analysis?
This argument that Iran is acting purely from nationalist motives, cold and calculating, simply makes no sense in relation to Israel. Iran and Israel were allies, friends until the revolution. There's nothing intrinsic about Iranian national interest that drives it to want to destroy Israel. It is precisely the ideology of the mullahs. It is precisely the theology of the mullahs. It is precisely the idea that the revolution, as Ayatollah Khomeini explained, the revolution in Iran was the harbinger, the beginning, the spark for the return of the 12th Mahdi, the restoration of the caliphate, and the restoration of Islam's place in the world. And in order to achieve that, as they have been saying for the last year, for example, the destruction of Israel is the beginning of the redemption of humanity. Is that nationalism speaking? Is that national interest speaking? The other side is trying to pretend that somehow the Iranian regime is cold and calculating and nationalist. Then why is it risking everything by supplying arms to Hezbollah and to Hamas? How does that promote the Iranian national interest? To involve itself in the civil war in Syria, where they are becoming hated by the Sunni Arabs because they are arming and protecting and even sending revolutionary guards into Syria to kill, imprison, and to torture Sunni Muslims trying to achieve freedom in Syria. No, this is a highly ideologically driven regime, and at the top of its ideological and theological list is the annihilation of Israel.